Hello. Welcome to my channel. Please leave a like and subscribe, and if we reach 3 likes then I'll upload the next part. And quote, Night Reaper come in. Night Reaper come in. And quote, Jesse shouted. Jesse Carter stood in front of his computer setup, inside a bar-turned-medical center. He has his radio close towards his mouth. And quote, Night Reaper, Divine Woman, anyone come in. More of the Order's forces are making their way to the city. And quote, he shouted into his radio. And quote, repeat, the Order's forces are coming through the city. And quote, Jesse slams the radio onto the bar. And quote, damn it. Nobody is answering their comms. And quote, Jesse said in a worrying tone. And quote, Nathan, you better not die. Your family can't afford to lose you. And quote, he looks around his surroundings and sees people laying down or sitting. Most of the people are badly wounded. Amateur nurses and doctors are looking after the wounded, giving them medicines, or fixing their wounds with a healing technique called divine healing, which worked by them using their chakra to heal the wounded. The more skillful doctors and nurses are in the battlefront tending to the soldiers. And quote, we got to evacuate. These people can't take any more of the fighting. Especially if they manage to get to the spirit tree. And quote, suddenly the front doors to the bar burst opens. A woman wearing an armored costume which assemble that of a knight carrying another woman who is wearing a costume. They walk into the bar. The woman who is being carried looks severely wounded. She's bleeding through her mouth a little. And quote, oh my God. And quote, Jesse then walks in front of the women. And quote, Divine Night, is Psycho okay? And quote, she's going to be fine. I stopped the bleeding on the battlefield, and I used divine healing on her. But multiple of her bones are broken, not even Cazadora will even heal fast enough. And quote, Divine Night answered. And quote, she just needs to rest. And quote, what happened to her? And quote, asked Jesse. And quote, a couple of rounds with one of the 5 deaths. And quote, Divine Night face turns to anger. And quote, damn those bastards. And quote, what about the others? I've been trying to contact them over the comms. And quote, last I checked the other Liberty Crusaders were fighting the 5 deaths by the shopping district a few blocks from here, but the 5 deaths are kicking their asses. And quote, Psycho then groans. And quote, I got to lie her down. And quote, wait, before you do. Know that enemy reinforcers are coming. You got to evacuate these people. And quote, Jesse warned. Divine Night sighed. And quote, can this get any worse? And quote, she asked. And quote, I'll get these people evacuated, but there are still people out there that needs to be evacuated as well. Maybe you could try to get a hold of the other Crusaders and tell them to get the people they find to a safe space under the Divine Palace. And quote, Divine Night said as she walked away from Jesse. And quote, you got it. And quote, Jesse said. And quote, I'm going to warn them. And quote, he then ran out of the bar. Divine Night turns her head quickly towards Jesse direction. And quote, Jesse, I meant over the comms. You're going to get yourself killed. And quote, she yelled at Jesse direction. Jesse exits the bar and steps into the now war-torn city of Silverview. Before the Order attacked Silverview, Silverview was once the home of two powerful societies, the Spirit Clan and the Sisterhood of the Divine Seer. But now most of the city was destroyed and in ruins, men and women of all ages murdered by the Order's forces. Jesse loses his breath for a second from seeing the destroyed buildings. But he gets brought back into reality when he hears loud stomping. And quote, "That stomping, I know those footsteps. Anywhere." And quote. Jesse then runs towards the stomping direction. As he ran towards the stomping only seems to be getting louder and louder. He turns a corner only to see a giant woman dressed in costume trying to fight something smaller than her, presumably one of the 5 deaths. Her opponent appeared to attack her knee. The giant woman let out monstrous groan of pain. Then her opponent punched the giant woman across her face, which causes her to fall back. She crashes into the ground, leaving a giant crater in her size. Her opponent flies off, presumably to continue their villainous plan. And quote, "Particle," and quote, Jesse screamed as he ran to her side. When he reached her giant hand, Jesse presses a button on her hand, which causes Particle to shrink into normal size. Particle then turns her head to Jesse. And quote, "Jesse?" and quote, Particle asked weakly, and quote, "Yeah, it's me Jesse, I'm here," and quote, Jesse said in comfort. And quote, "Are you okay?" and quote, "I'm banged up, but I'll live," and quote, Particle said as she sat up. And quote, "I got to keep fighting," and quote. Suddenly, Particle felt a sharp pain in her leg, most likely coming from her knee. And quote, "Ah," and quote, she cried. And quote, "Here, let me help you," and quote. He then helps her stand up. Jesse wrapped Particle's arm around his neck. And quote, "Don't worry about them now, we need to worry about getting you out of here. More of the Order's forces are on the way. I'll get you back to the bar. Then I can continue searching for the others." And quote, "There's no way I'm leaving you out here." And quote, "Forget about me, there are other people that are in need of your help. You need to help Divine Knight evacuating people into a bunker under the Divine Palace." And quote, Jesse warned. She sighed, because she knew Jesse was right. There could have been hundreds of people in need of saving, and they could die if she didn't help them. Particle then pressed a button in her hand. She then shrinks down into a tiny size. Thrusters coming from her boots allowed her to fly up to Jesse's eye level. And quote, "I may not be able to walk, but I'll be able to fly." And quote, she then flew close to him. And quote, "You better not get yourself killed," and quote, Particle warned. Jesse nodded in understandment. And quote, "Good luck," and quote, she said as she flew away. Jesse looks over the skyline and sees a bright yellow light. And quote, "The shopping district must be that way," and quote. He then continued his journey to find the rest of the Liberty Crusaders. As Jesse entered the shopping district, civilians were running towards Jesse's direction. Jesse ran into the civilians, bumping into a few of them, but ultimately makes it past them. He then entered to what could be the center of the shopping district. Jesse becomes shocked for what he found. A man who is holding a sword that is plunged into another man's chest. The man with the sword in his chest is wearing an armor similar to Divine Knight and Spirit Knight, and Jesse screamed with sorrow. The man noticed. Jesse screamed and turned around to face him. And "Ah, so you must had known this, Spirit Knight. I wonder if you're a hero too. It was fun battling this one." He was a formidable opponent. And the man then starts to smirk. And "But you on the other, you don't look like much of a fighter. Nothing that the fifth death could kill easily." And the fifth death dashes at Jesse, ready to cut through him with one swing of his sword. And Dragon Spirit, Fire Wave, and then a beam of fire hits the fifth death and knocks him into one of the vendors' stand. Jesse then turns his head to the direction of where the beam of fire came from. What he saw was another costumed man, wearing mask, and Spirit Man. And Jesse said joyfully. Spirit Man then walks towards Jesse. And "Jesse, what are you doing here? It isn't safe for civilians to be here." And nobody was answering the comms. "I had to come find you all to warn you more of the Order's forces are on their way, and we need to get the people to safety." And damn it. And Spirit Man cursed. And "I can't worry about that, right? I need to find Helena. Have you seen her?" And "I haven't seen Divine Woman anywhere." And Jesse then looks at Spirit Knight's body. And "She'll be heartbroken when she finds out about Spirit Knight's death." And Spirit Man looks at Spirit Knight's dead body. And damn it, Jason. Mark's going to be devastated. And Spirit Man said under his breath. And "I need to find her. I swear on the Divine Seer, I will not lose any more family today." And suddenly, Spirit Man could feel his sister's location. It was an ability people only could achieved with a lot of the spirit force. Now that Spirit Man had her location, he could find her. And "Get out of here, Jesse, you'll just get in the way." And Spirit Man then flies off to search for his sister. But just as Spirit Man leaves, 4 Order soldiers comes out of hiding and surrounds Jesse. And freeze. And one of the Order's soldiers shouted to Jesse. Jesse puts his hands up. And "Don't shoot, I'm unarmed." And "So, what if you're unarmed?" And asked the Order's soldier. And makes this a whole lot easier. And the Order's soldiers then aimed their guns at Jesse. Jesse, out of fear, closes his eyes. Just as they are about to open fire at Jesse, multiple small ball-shaped bombs land on the ground. Red smoke comes out of the booms and surrounds the area, blinding everyone's sights of vision, including Jesse's. Jesse then hears guns, shots and punch noises. He smiles. "I know my smoke bombs anywhere, which mean he's here." Jesse thought to himself. The red smoke dissolves into the air. The Order's soldiers are laying on the ground unconscious. Jesse jumps back a little from fright when he sees a masked, costumed man standing in front of him. And Night Reaper. And Jesse said in shock. He takes a deep breath. And "You scared me." And "I told you to stay in the bar. Why are you out here?" And asked Night Reaper in a discordant voice. And nobody was answering their comms, and I got word more of Order's forces are on their way. We need to get these people out of the city. And Quat, answered Jesse Night Reaper sighs. And Quat, you're right. We need to get them out of the city. But we can't afford for the Order to get their hands on the spirit tree. And Quat, Night Reaper then puts his hand on Jesse's shoulder. And Quat, but first let's worry about getting you out of here. And Quat, the fifth death sword then pierced through Night Reaper's side. And Quat, ah! And Quat, yelled Night Reaper. And Quat, Nathan. And Quat, Jesse shouted in a mixture of fear and shock. And Quat, goddamned heroes. And Quat, the side of the fifth death's face were burned, but his burn marks heal themselves quickly. Night Reaper reaches for his utility belt and pulls out a smoke bomb. And Quat, run. And Quat, Night Reaper said weakly as he threw the smoke bomb onto the ground. Red smoke surrounds them. Jesse runs towards the opposite direction of the fifth sin. He didn't know what direction he was going, but he knew he had to get to the bunker. But as Jesse ran, tears ran down his face, tears that mourned the death of his best friend. On Spirit Man's side of things, he reaches the ground after flying for a couple of miles. He saw a large tree, with blue leaves that glow bright. The tree was what Night Reaper called the Spirit Tree, the very thing the Liberty Crusaders were trying to protect. Beside the Spirit Tree was a costumed woman lying on the tree. The woman was Helena, or as Jesse calls her, Divine Woman. And Quat, Helena. And Quat, Spirit Man shouted as he ran towards her side. When Spirit Man reached Divine Woman, he kneeled in front of her. Divine Woman has cut wounds on her stomach, in which she is bleeding heavily. And Quat, W. Warren. And Quat, asked Divine Woman. And Quat, it's me, Warren, your brother. And Quat, he reassured her. And Quat, come on, let's get you out of here. And Quat, Spirit Man tries to lift Divine Woman, but she groans in pain. And Quat, don't move me. And Quat, she spoke. And Quat, leave me here. And Quat, no. And Quat, Spirit Man protest. And Quat, I'm not leaving you here. And Quat, Warren, look at me. And Quat, Divine Woman commanded. And Quat, as your Grand Mistress I order you to leave me here, and if you disobey that order you will be punished severely. I prayed to God and the Divine Seer that it didn't have to come to this, but it did. And Quat, she starts to tear up. And Quat, I know Jason is dead. I felt him as his soul joined the spirit force, but now that I am going to die too, I need you to make me a promise. Promise me you'll take care of Mark, and you give him a better life than this one. And Quat, he sheds a tear. And Quat, I promise Helena, I promise. And Quat, Spirit Man stands up. And Quat, may you find peace inside the spirit force. And Quat, Spirit Man then flies off to meet with the other remaining Liberty Crusaders. If the 5 deaths get to the Spirit Tree, then it could mean the end of the world as we know it. I can't let that happen, Divine Woman thought to herself. And Quat, Divine Seer, may you look over and protect my son Mark. And Quat, she prayed. A tear ran down her face. And Quat, Dragon Spirit. And Quat, a large fire combusts around Divine Woman's body. And Quat, Red Giant. And Quat, yelled Divine Woman. The fire consumes Divine Woman and the Spirit Tree, killing both Divine Woman and the Spirit Tree. On that day, the terrible and ancient terrorist organization named the Order attacked the city of Silverview, which was the home of their swarm enemy called Gargoyle, in hopes of obtaining the leaves of a powerful and ancient tree called the Spirit Tree. The Spirit Tree could give anyone a connection to a powerful force of nature called the Spirit Force, but since the tree was destroyed, nobody could obtain the powers of the Spirit Force unless one of their parents already had a connection to the Spirit Force. On that day, Gargoyle called in the world's greatest champions, a superhero team called the Liberty Crusaders. Half of the team died that day, the others lived on, scared with the memories they had gotten from their battle. But this story isn't about them, not really anyway. This is the story of the Children of Liberty Crusaders members that lived and died that day. The story of how they started a new crusade.